Many others have told their story, and many are the pilgrims who have traveled El Camino de Santiago. But this is my way. This is my own story. I did it. I did it my way. El Camino de Santiago? Yes. I heard about it many years ago, when I was very young, shortly after my accident. At the age of 21, I was shot in my back and in my arm. I was very young and very stupid. Leaving me in a wheelchair. It was, you know, those are things that you don't measure in life when you're young. I don't consider myself condemned. I consider myself blessed, because opening my eyes after that accident was a second chance to live. And I remember even at the hospital telling my father to not to feel that way, because I was still alive, because I could be dead.
Cuando a él le sucede eso, que yo me entero, ¿no, verdad? Por supuesto, lo primero que yo quería era matarme. Es decir, quería matarme si algo le pasaba. Yo decía, si el médico sale del quirófano y me dice que no pudo hacer más nada, ¿verdad? Yo pensaba en quitarme la vida.
That's a very, very difficult thing to explain how I felt. It's devastating, beyond devastating. And after the accident, I thought John was going to walk again. But with time, you know, we knew he wasn't going to walk again, but he's made a perfect life. I mean, he does everything in the wheelchair. He's self-sufficient. There's nothing he can't do.
I see my failures as something positive. I see it as a gain, because I learned from them. So I never see anything with a negative connotation. I always see everything positive. So some people might see it as a failure. I might see it as an achievement that I surpassed that. So I can't really say that I have failed in anything. I live day by day, with intensity. I like extreme sports. Take risks. Feel the adrenaline of the moment. Make every day count. More than 20 years have passed since I've heard about the road. Probably because the road already started for me. El camino. El camino. So this whole journey began, the whole thought started 20 years ago when I heard about it, and ever since I wanted to do it, it always sounded very interesting, this journey. So I came at a crossroads in my life that I thought I needed to do it. I had the time to do it, so I decided to do this.
Leaving my house was only the beginning.
So I decided to do my way from the front door steps of my house. Tradition says that's how you start the way, and you end up in Santiago.
So here's where my journey starts. I will be leaving from the front of my house. Tradition says you grab a rock and you deposit it at La Cruz del Ferro. I decided to venture, travel to Spain, learn about the magic, the mysticism that has inspired millions of pilgrims.
And I left in August. I went from Miami to Madrid. In Madrid, I went to Biarritz in France, and then from France you have to, go on another train to take you to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, and then from there, on the French side of the Pyrenees, I started to do the which is called the French Way.
I've arrived in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. I was ready. The place was really amazing. The energy of that town injected me the courage that I needed to start.
The feeling when you arrive to Saint Jean, it's your dreams coming together and you're really materializing it. This is something that I've been thinking about for 20 years, and when you're actually there, it's a feeling like no other. It's like, okay, this is something that I've always wanted to do, and it was surreal. It was really surreal. It was very daunting. It was very spiritual. It's so many emotions. When you're there, it was quite amazing. Quite amazing.
Camino.
A very good friend was with me the first few days. It is common to make this journey alone, but common does not always mean it's easy. She accompanied me for a few days. Unfortunately, not everyone stays with you to the end. My way was different. Perhaps it had many more obstacles. With my wheelchair, I could only take roads. So this is the road to Pamplona. On the streets, really, 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 really dangerous. The mountains of the Pyrenees, with inclinations of almost 30 degrees, where stages could easily take me days to complete. I felt ready for the physical challenge of the road. I participate in marathons and sports activities in the US, and I can travel up to 25 miles a day. But I had the impression that my challenge was not going to be easy. I still had a stretch to get to Pamplona. I was disoriented, without knowing where to go.
Oh shit.
I was still worried about the climb to the city.
That was scarier than the whole trip. And let's see. No, fuck no. I think I found a way to go up a really steep hill. It's gonna take forever, but I can zigzag my way up like this.
Este puentico,
Okay.
mano izquierda y derecho ahí y se presenta allá mismo.
Okay.
Sí,
Ahí
mismo.
Perfecto.
Y allá mismo. Sí.
Perfecto.
Mejor que la otra, yo te mandaba otra.
Ok, gracias.
Venga.
¿Quiere que le ayude un poco?
No, yo puedo, gracias.
heard about an elevator and that Pamplona was sitting up on a ridge. At the end of the days, my hands hurt and they were getting wounded, but I arrived. When I entered Pamplona, I felt that I already achieved something.
Well, espérate, le pasé el castillo.
After all, I've already crossed France. I was in Spain after 4 long days, but I had an energy that was difficult to describe. From Pamplona, I had to cross highways to get to Puentes de la Reina. I was alone, and suddenly I had a strange feeling. A feeling that I haven't felt before. The vibrations of the cars were so strong. The impotence of having no other options but to continue in what I came to feel like a Russian roulette. I had a feeling that I would die at any moment.
I forgot to leave my living will. My name is John Pardo. I forgot to live my living will. And I am going on the highways this whole way. And my will would be for everything that I own, all my belongings, get distributed equally between both my parents, Dorothy Pardo and Manuel Pardo.
I remembered my parents. I had the certainty that they would be thinking about me and that I would finish this.
I was very afraid because John takes too many chances, and I know he goes down the middle of the road in the wheelchair, and it's dangerous. It's just a dangerous thing, and he never thinks anything's going to happen to him, so I worry about that. But there again, he's unstoppable. He's going to do his thing, but you're still pretty nervous when you see that going on.
When I was about to arrive in Puentes de la Reina, I noticed something quite strange. Someone was following me.
So I have a guy behind me. It's been for the past quarter kilometer, and he's just behind me just to make sure that I'm safe, I guess, on the streets. He just said that he wasn't going to pass me and he wanted to kind of be behind me. So that's pretty cool.
Everyone was unknown to me, and in my situation was quite particular. This was a Spanish man with his son. They were escorting me. I thought, what is happening? Why are they following me? But I felt the relief of not being alone. Actually, at that time, I didn't know why they did it. But it was great. Until today, I am immensely grateful for Richard and his son Javier.
Have el amigo Javier, no?
Sí.
John knows that it's been a blessing, a gift, to meeting him. And it brings to my mind, it's one of those healthy slaps in a face when I was not focused. And he reminded me that life is a struggle to face and to stand up against, and I have nothing to complain. There's absolutely no little issue or problem in life that can compare to the circumstance that he is overcoming.
Impresionante, porque nadie se atreve a hacer 800 kilómetros él solo con una mochila y un jersey y tirar 800 kilómetros por carretera con camiones, teniendo las noticias todos los días de atropellos, muertes, la gente que deja tirada a la gente. Y yo creo que esa determinación es única.
Puente de la Reina was a typical Spanish town. Beautiful. The people were very kind. As the hours passed, I got used to my way. But not everyone got used to seeing me. On the contrary, they were surprised that someone in a wheelchair was doing El Camino. The police stopped me many times, and I had to equip myself with vest and emergency lights.
Gracias. Gracias. So, my third encounter with the police. They all know I'm here. It's it's just every day.
I was on my way to Logroño, another Spanish city. The landscape has changed, but the climbs were still as steep. I went through a town called Torres del Rio, and they welcomed me with a food festival. And there I was, surrounded by friendly people, eating a typical dish called el calderete. It was incredible.
So this is called el calderete. It's in a town about 10 kilometers from Los Arcos, and everybody gets together here in this town and they cook a lamb stew, and then there's a prize for the winner, and they have bragging rights to the best calderete in the region of Navarra. So it's really cool. Oh, it's freezing. Freezing. So here's the highway and to Logroño. Well,
Once again, I was alone on the road. Although the descent meant a challenge, as demanding as the ascent, I won't deny it, that was a break. Not for my hands, because they were injured when holding the chair, but for my arms, they were already exhausted by force.
oh, what a beautiful day.
The chair was still an issue that disturbed me, in many circumstances. In the middle of nowhere, where not having spare parts came to worry me a lot. But it was my legs, and this was the path that I chose.
So, we're coming down this hill. I'm a little worried. My front casters, the bearings, they're making already a sound. I think it's the vibrations really.
I decided to do this journey in my wheelchair with no modifications because my wheelchair is the extension of my legs. And I would feel cheated if I was to do any type of modifications to my chairs. This is how I live, these are my legs, and I walked out of my door with my chair.
On the way to Logroño, I met many pilgrims.
Buen camino.
Glad to see you doing it.
Yeah. It just seems like every morning you wake up and it's this.
Yeah.
You're up a hill, you know. It's never let me just go out and leisurely stroll. No, it's up a hill. Like yesterday when we left the town, it was like 7 kilometers to this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
but
So do you let yourself really go quick downhill or not?
not really. I mean, it can get dangerous going downhill.
Yeah.
Because the roads aren't perfect, little stones, little cracks on the road, so I really have to be careful going downhill.
Y tu silla no es preparada.
No, esta es mi silla que yo uso todos los días. Sí. ¿Perdón?
Qué estado físico.
Sí.
¿Y las bajadas?
Las bajadas son igual de malas que las subidas.
¿Ah, sí?
Claro, los guantes, tengo que frenar con las manos y los guantes me los quema todos y...
¿Tiene varios guantes de repuesto?
Sí. Gracias.
Gracias por el ejemplo.
Gracias a usted. I was gonna photobomb you. Buen camino.
I usually slept in shelters. The area of La Rioja was literally spectacular. You could see vineyards side to side on the roads, farms, factories. I was waiting for a long journey to Burgos. I was determined to overcome 2 stages in one day, despite being really tired.
This is the hill that I just started to go up. Oh my God. I'm gonna try.
Nothing was so comforting for me to arrive and see the cathedral in Burgos, majestic in the middle of the city.
We're in Burgos. The city is beautiful.
I understood why it's so famous and represents an icon for the Spanish. The city itself is an icon, building colors, life, culture. The only exit from Burgos to Castro Jerez, my other point on the road, was again on a highway.
So just now leaving Burgos. Comes at no surprise. We're up on a hill again.
The weather was inclement. It was 40 degrees. I saw sunflower fields side to side for miles, and it seemed that all those landscapes were there just for me, to enjoy them.
Sounds.
I arrived at Castro Jerez, where finally I could rest.
Salud.
Every place has its own characteristic and its own personality, I guess, and everywhere just amazed me. Even if I was just in any town, you know, there was always something there that would just amaze you.
It was not long before we reached a town called Carrión de los Condes. On the way, I found the pilgrimage hospital. It was a place that meant effort, achievement, as many of those took refuge here. I had traveled 400 kilometers. 400 kilometers in 14 days. At that rate, I was confident I would achieve it.
Santiago, 463 kilometers to go. I guess I'm not even halfway. I should be halfway, maybe in a couple of days. Man, this is tough. Necessary. Number one thing necessary for the ride. Chocolate.
I ate a lot of fruit along the way. Just that's basically what I ate. That chocolate, and water. So I basically lived off fruit, chocolate, and water.
It's a long, long, long road today.
I felt fortunate to do this. I enjoyed myself. I was really happy.
Don't know what I mean. You're not just another love, you know you're everything to me. Every time I'm with you, baby, can't believe it's true. When you live my arms, and you do the things you do. Whoa, man, what a hill. Whoa, check that shit out. Oh, dear baby, can't believe it's true. When you live in my arms, and you do the things you do. I said I wasn't going to listen to music, but it's been really tough today. And music really helps me out through some of these hills.
I went through another town, in this case Sahagún. Something that caught my attention was that most businesses were closed, not only in Sahagún, but in many of the towns I have visited. But when I arrived in a big city, I felt an incredible injection of adrenaline. The wind on the road was beginning to feel very strong.
This is really, really hard. Pushing through this wind. It's very challenging. Very, really challenging. Ooh.
Pushing the chair against this wind wore me out. What took minutes now was taking me hours. But definitely, nature had incredible phenomena, and I was there to enjoy them.
Shit! That little tornado just went right by me. Oh my god! Oh fuck!
Every time I left a town, I was oblivious of what I would learn or who I would meet. They were undisturbed cobble roads from the Middle Ages in a town called Castillo de los Polvosares. And it's incredible that being in such difficult situations, people pass by your side without even offering to help.
No, pero tarde, vete despacio. Está ahí a la izquierda pegando a la iglesia.
Sí, pero...
Ah, pero bueno, vete despacito más te da. Igual que yo, llevando mal de una pierna, estoy andando despacio.
¿Y dónde está la iglesia?
Aquí, nada que termines ahí.
Ah, suena muy fácil.
Un cuarto de hora tarde, pero estoy más despacio.
The next day, I arrived to one of the most emblematic places in the Camino de Santiago, La Cruz del Ferro, in Ponferrada.
One of the traditions of the Camino, and it's an old ancient tradition, is to take a stone from the beginning of your journey and to deposit it in La Cruz del Ferro. It's a very beautiful place. It's a very spiritual place, more than a religious place. It's a very spiritual place, and you take your stone and you put it on the bottom of the cross, and you just you leave behind what you want to leave behind.
The way also had a spiritual connotation. It was more than a personal challenge. I reflected on my past and how John will be after this.
He did get something out of this trip, a spiritual. He got a spiritual thing from this, and John really could help a lot of people with his disability because he's amazing and he does things that people wouldn't even try to do. But he, for some reason, he doesn't see himself handicapped.
I have traveled 600 kilometers, and I had the opportunity to meet great people, fantastic places, and moments of self-reflection.
I was sometimes challenged in places where, you know, even in your wildest dreams, you know, a wheelchair could not, you know, go up a mountain that is 16 degrees in inclination with rocks and rain and mud, you know, and I was faced sometimes into this, and people would just walk by me and not even offer to help me or if I needed a hand.
What would you do if in your way you see someone who needs your help that has a different condition than yours?
Ay, mamá. Ay, Dios mío, esto sí está difícil.
Fortunately, I met someone that did not question this.
Nos encontraste a nosotros, amigo.
Sí.
Para darte esa fuerza física que te falta.
Me motivaron de verdad para hacer
Psicológica más bien, no física, ¿eh? Que seguro que está más fuerte tú físico que nosotros.
Without realizing it, Sandra Aurelio and I were finishing this together.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Aquí estamos con John. Vamos a hacer una subida más a Puerto Marín. Otra etapa, chicos.
Joder, un chico haciendo el camino en silla de ruedas. Y a mí, eso dije, madre mía, qué carácter, qué punto, ¿no? ¿Qué cojones tenía este muchacho? De verlo solo, de estar allí muerto de frío, en esas media montañas, y me sorprendía realmente todo eso. Me llevé una impresión fantástica.
We left Sarria and headed to Puerto Marín.
He was a great part of this for me, a great part. I can't say, and I will not say, I was not going to finish this way without him, because I was going to finish it, because that's what I wanted to do. But I finished it in a grand way. I met a great friend that really helped me in those last 100 kilometers that I really needed help.
I was surprised that people wanted to take pictures with me.
Buen camino. Buen camino.
I was humbled a little bit by it, but very grateful for their support.
Where are you from?
I'm from Venezuela, but live in Miami. Yeah. John.
Estamos aquí llegando ya a Puerto Marín. Somos los mejores. Una etapa más y una menos para conseguir nuestros 120 kilómetros. Fantástico.
We reached another point, Puerto Marín. Each one took our passports out with all the stamps we have collected.
The passport is a document that you receive at the beginning of your journey. It's a document that you stamp in basically where you're going to stay overnight, or the churches that you visit, and important parts of the way.
Vamos, con lluvia y todo, y seguimos nuestro paso. Vamos, que nos queda 100 kilómetros solo.
Buen camino.
Aurelio encouraged me to continue.
Vamos, vamos, vamos.
And that support I will always thank him for.
Eso me hizo recapacitar y valorar más la vida. De decir, si este chico lo puede hacer en silla de ruedas, digo, nosotros que nos lamentamos por tener dos piernas y tal, ponemos muchos impedimentos en la vida y no nos damos cuenta que una persona con menos facultades puede tener más coraje que 100 personas juntas.
Ya nos quedan 49 kilómetros para terminar y llegar a Santiago.
Before arriving to the next stage in Arcas Opino, we decided to leave the road and join the dirt road. We were confident because people in the area assured us that it was a viable way. But when we arrived, to our surprise, it was far from accessible.
Vamos, vamos. En la penúltima etapa estamos. Vamos, vamos.
Nosotros empezamos porque confiamos en estos señores de estos pueblos y nos metemos sin darnos cuenta. Lo único que, claro, empezamos a bajar. Bajamos para abajo y, claro, ya el camino, ya no podíamos retroceder. Entonces ya nos miramos y decimos, venga, ya que nos hemos metido aquí, hay que salir como sea.
Ya, pero ¿no sería mejor volver?
No, ya no.
Ya no.
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 Sufrimos un poquito.
Pero si es así todo el camino, ¿qué?
No.
Esto tiene que salirse en algún lado.
En algún lado.
Maneuvering the chair on such irregular terrain was difficult. Very difficult. I had to balance myself in two wheels, supporting all of my weight with my arms. The misbalance was so big that it would be as if you were sitting on a giant ball with your legs raised, going down a hill, on ice.
Ahora, bien. Bien. Bien.
The spirit of Aurelio and the serenity of Sandra were never lacking.
Esta piedra es peligrosa, muy peligrosa, ¿eh?
Esto.
Sí, porque aquí no te va, ahí resbala, totalmente. Venga, vamos, 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 vamos. Bien, John, bien. Bien, John, bien, bien. La izquierda, ahí, perfecto, la tienes.
There came moments that I couldn't do it anymore.
Bien, 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 bien. Wow. Vale, nene, la rodilla, espera.
La rodilla.
Wow.
Ya, por la silla.
Recta.
Venga.
Venga, que él se pueda apoyar ahí. Vale. Las rodillas las tienes mal, ¿no?
Sí, es lo más seguro.
Es polvo, te lo juro, no te has hecho ni un arañazo.
Aurelio was very worried.
¿Estás bien?
Sí.
Y ya no se va a caer más porque ya no te voy a dejar. No.
We realized that for others, the way had a different ending.
Sí. Me dejo mi gorra. ¡Vámonos! ¡Vamos! ¡Vamos! ¡Vamos, equipo!
Siempre este chico he ido admirándole día tras día por su carácter, por su personalidad, por su fuerza mental.
Sadly, this was coming to an end.
Vamos, no nos queda nada, a punto de llegar a Compostela. Prueba casi conseguida.
¡Ven, camino!
¡Bárbaro, mi
¡Ven,
niño!
camino! ¡Ven, camino! ¡Camino!
3 kilómetros viendo la catedral desde aquí, desde San Marcos. ¿Listo?
When I arrived to Santiago, everything had changed. It is difficult to describe, but I felt a big weight off my back. I was proud of Aurelio, Sandra, and of myself. I was done carrying my cross.
And it's emotional. It's very emotional.
We had the satisfaction of having achieved an incredible challenge, and we went to our Compostela.
La Compostela is a certificate that originally it was done in Latin and is still written in Latin, and it's very beautiful. It's a certificate that you get at the end of the journey that says that you have done it, and they would put the kilometers that you did and where you started from and where you ended it. So it's a certificate that you get at the end.
¡A por la compostelana, John! ¡Vamos, vamos! ¡Vamos a por la compostelana!
No te la va a regalar, ¿no?
No te van a regalar aquí nada. Hay que sudarlo todo. Hay que sudarlo del principio hasta el final. 900 kilómetros. Venga, venga.
The corridors were full of pilgrims waiting. Upon entering, they looked at me amazed. Many of them recognized me. They probably saw me somewhere before arriving in Santiago. The applause of the people humbled me to my core, but above all, it made me remember why I started my way. I understood that the road represented fragments of my life. It is the metaphor that teaches you. It teaches you that there are those that will not accompany you to the end, that there are times where you become disoriented, situations where you turn and you're completely alone, where nobody is willing to help. There are moments where you think that it's impossible, where everything seems so difficult, that the effort is not enough, and you fall. But the most important thing of the way is to remember that you're not alone. When you least expect it, a helping hand appears, that there is no better attitude than laughing, singing, and having a sense of humor. And the most important thing is to be alive and always have a second chance. Life is like the road to Santiago. Life is a path, and you decide how you do it. I had to forge my way, my own path. I'll go through many others, but the way has taught me that anything is possible when you don't put obstacles in front of you. but the way to Santiago was a great way, and I did it. The only obstacles in your life are the ones that you put in front of you.
Oh, Andy?
Doesn't always call himself that. Sometimes he's always
I don't know what I'd do without you, babe. Don't know where I'd be. You're not just another lover, no, you're everything to me. Every time I'm with you, baby, I can't believe it's true. When you lay in my arms and you do the things you do, I don't know what I'd do without you, babe. Don't know where I'd be. You're not just another lover, no, you're everything to me. Every time I'm with you, baby, I can't believe it's true. When you lay in my arms and you do the things you do, I don't know what I'd do without you, babe. Don't know where I'd be. You're not just another lover, no, you're everything to me. Every time I'm with you, baby, I can't believe it's true. When you lay in my arms and you do the things you do, I don't know what I'd do without you, baby. Don't know where I'd be. You're not just another lover, no, you're everything to me. Every time I'm with you, baby, I can't believe it's true. When you lay in my arms and you do the things you do, love you. Love you. Love you.